Sometimes it felt as if he desperately hungered to hasten Africa into its awaiting glory. I learned so much from him, as a person and as a writer. His humor and mischief, his wit, his generosity, his optimism, his kindness, his astonishing brilliance, his contradictions, his vulnerability, and his open, aching humanness. He was one of the greatest minds I have ever known. He was one of those rare people whose unique complexity is so difficult to fully express that I cannot help but resort to boring language. He was an original. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Lagos, July 2022.
The first story. The first story I ever wrote was in 1995 or 1996, or it could have been as early as 1993 or 1994. It was set in a heaven where Africans went to die. I am desperate to find it. I remember the lead character was called Django. There was a sentence in it about his mind being like a helium balloon. It was published on some website that mostly American writers frequented, called purification.com. Is there no way of recovering it? Binyavanga Wainaina. The first short story Binyavanga Wainaina ever wrote was published in 1996. More than 2 decades later, he wrote to me, desperate to find it. His memory, I will note, was misleading. Purification.com does not exist. The amateur writing community he submitted his work to was Pure Fiction, which published him in an indelicately titled section called the Electronic Slush Pile. He was not ashamed of his humble literary origins. Binyavanga was 25 years old at the time. He wrote the story on a shared desktop computer at a backpackers' hostel in Cape Town and sent it in from a dial-up connection at the internet cafe in its basement. When it was published, the earth did not move. It would take a few more years of effort before he could break into newspapers and magazines, and several more to attract the attention of the world's leading literary publications. If you were looking for clues to his eventual literary success, however, you could do no better than to begin with this story. Binguni is an ambitious fantasy of spirituality, sexuality, discovery, and death, but strikingly unlike any other young writer's attempt to grapple with life's big questions. It is a declaration of character, insouciant, honest, and unpretentious, suffused with wit and charm, tinged by a yearning to connect, and bathed in the glow of limitless possibility that his early life, much like the early internet, once offered. 1. Binguni. 2 goldfish were arguing in their bowl. If there is no God, who changes our water every week? Allotropy. Noun. The property of certain elements to exist in 2 or more distinct forms. 1. Dawn, December 27th, 1999. Django had often pictured his imagination as a helium-filled balloon, rather than one containing air. As he rose above the wreckage of the car, a whole-body feeling came over him. His life had ended. The string was cut, and his imagination was free to merge with reality. He felt immensely liberated, like he was flexing muscles that had not been used in a long time. Oh, to stretch! His body felt loose-limbed and weightless, and his mind poised to soar. How could he have stayed in cramped earthliness for so long? How could he have forgotten this feeling? Had he not once danced with